Hello again. Once more, nonsense about race to thrust itself to my attention, this time by means of an article in my newspaper. It will perhaps surprise no British viewer that I read the Daily Telegraph, and the other day I came across this exceedingly peculiar headline. It appears that the countryside is racist and has to change its ways. Now, it's very difficult not to mock this kind of thing, and I'm going to do my best not to treat the matter seriously. I can't help wondering, though, which parts of the countryside it is that are racist. Is it the trees? The sheep? Hedgerows? The farmers themselves? Reading the text makes it all a lot clearer, because it explains that it isn't really the countryside itself which is racist at all. The problem seems to be rather that a lot of black people and other minorities see the countryside as being too white and don't like going there. Here's what a report prepared for the Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs says. Many communities in modern Britain feel that these landscapes hold no relevance for them. The countryside is seen by both black, Asian and minority ethnic groups as very much a white environment. I must declare an interest here because I adore the countryside and I can be in open fields within 20 minutes of walking out of my front door. There are two great things from my point of view about walking along country lanes and footpaths. One is that they are always open and free to use at any hour of the day and night, 24 hours a day, even on Christmas Day. For this reason, I was perplexed to read another report, this time from the Campaign to Protect Rural England. It has apparently vowed to remove barriers to the countryside for non-white people. What are these barriers? I'm honestly mystified by this. I live near the end of the London Underground system. Anybody who wants to jump on the tube in any part of London can travel here, get off at the local tube station, and then walk around the fields and woods, just as I do regularly. There are no barriers, it's open to everybody. When the Campaign to Protect Rural England talks of ending what it calls the racial inequalities that exist in engagement with the countryside, I literally have no idea what they are talking about. My suspicion is that a lot of black people don't want to walk around fields as I do because there's not very much to do there and it's very quiet as a rule. It's true that I don't see many black or Asian people when I'm out walking. But then again, I don't see too many white people either, other than those that are working on the fields. This brings me to the other reason that I love the countryside. I'm not really a people person, and I don't have to talk to people or indeed even meet them when I'm in the countryside. I can usually dodge behind a tree or cross the road or nip into a field or a little bit of woodland or something. When I'm walking, I often walk all day without actually meeting or setting eyes on anybody else because very few people do like walking in the countryside. Of course, you have to bear in mind the countryside's not a theme park. Most of the people I do come across are farmers and other people who are working. They don't wave cheerily to me or show any signs of wanting to chat to me because they are busy. I'm sure they'd show no more interest in speaking to a black man or woman either. The fact is, the only people I see when I'm out walking, apart from farmers and labourers, are very usually older people about my own age. Most of them are men, and they don't really want to talk to people either by the look of them. Like me, they're walking through forests and deserted lanes because they want to be by themselves. That's often why people go to the countryside. I might mention apropos of this that some places in the Lake District have lost their funding from local authorities, things like mountain rescue and so on, because it's been noticed that they don't have very many black and Asian clients. So it's their fault that black and Asian people don't want to climb up hills and sprain their ankles there. I picked up a taste for the countryside when I was small. My family used to come up this way and have picnics in fields not far from here at all. That used to be something that working class people from East London did 60 years ago. There was very little to do in London on a Sunday in those days, in the 1950s and the early 60s. And having a picnic in the countryside cost next to nothing. These days, most people have enough money to do lots of other things, apart from walking and picnicking in the country. And I'm very happy for those who prefer streets and shops to stay in built-up areas. The idea that there are any barriers to getting on a train and then walking in the countryside is absolutely barking mad. And stuff like this is completely bonkers. Mind, if anybody watching this has been prevented from going for a walk in the country because of the colour of their skin, I'd be very interested to hear about it. Similarly, if anybody has come across any of these barriers that are talked about, I'd like to know about that as well. I understand that the American National Park Service is on a similar drive to make the countryside in the United States more inclusive and diverse as well.